Today's topic, demand. All right, very interesting because demand here talks about you as a buyer. All right, as a buyer, because you already know from last week's lecture that in an economic transaction, there are two sides to the story. There is the buyer's side of the story and there is the seller's side of the story. Of course, they will both look at the situation differently because of the benefits that they are getting. All right, and regards to the economic questions, they also treat those economic questions differently. Do you remember the three economic questions? What to produce, how to produce, or whom to produce. Buyers and sellers will look at these questions. The buyers and sellers will look at scarcity. Buyers and sellers will look at wealth differently. Therefore, for the next 2 weeks, we are going to take a look on the different sides of the perspective, how they look at these economic transactions. Today, when we look at demand, we are looking at from the buyer's side, from you. Why, when, what you want to buy. Next week, lecture 3, we'll look at supply. Supply is when we look at from the seller's side. Why would the seller want to produce? Why would the seller want to sell their stock? All right? Then, topic 4, week 4, we will combine both buyers and sellers. That's when we will have market equilibrium. And that is how we complete the entire economic market. That's why I say these topics are interrelated. You miss one, you cannot continue the other. First, we have a look at prices. How do we decide the prices of things? Of course, you have learned in marketing, there are many ways you can come up with prices. One of the ways, for example, is cost-based pricing, right? You determine the price of a product based on the cost. You mark up a certain percentage of the cost. That is one way. But what makes you think that the price that you get from marking up is a price that people will accept? That's the best question, all right?